Hey, what's going on, guys? Shane of Rockabouts Sound. In today's video, I have 5 tips for you to make absolutely insane serum growls. And just an example of when you actually apply these tips, this is what you can make. So obviously that is a very heavy growl. Let's go ahead and get into what we can actually make with this. At whatever point that you guys find this tutorial helpful, make sure you guys consider clicking that subscribe button because we straight up have the best serum tutorials on YouTube. And if you guys are not already subscribed, you're actually missing out. So I don't know why you want to miss out on that. Let's go ahead and start off with our first tip. Now the first tip is actually going to be related to the voices here, or the unison on oscillator either A or B, because they both have the option to manipulate how many copies of the waveform are actually going to be playing at one singular time. So let's go ahead and choose a very growly wavetable. Let's go into our spectral and we'll go into our monsters because these are very growly waveforms for the most part. Let's take a listen. Alright, so nothing special here for the waveform, but let's go ahead and turn up the unison to 16. That is very intense. Let's hear what we get. Not sounding too good, but now here's a very crucial part. When we turn down the random phase, we won't be playing it at a random spot in the waveform here. We're just going to be playing it from one singular spot every single time. We're just concentrating it into the middle, as you can see. And yes, it does sound kind of rhythmish, but when we move the detune knob, we can manipulate how intense of that initial effect we actually get. So one little fun thing that I do is I actually modulate the detune. This is what I did in that original sound. Alright, so yeah, that's really it for the first tip. That's actually really a great effect when you want to make your growls a lot more heavy sounding and actually thicker. It gives it a lot of stereo spread. Of course, we need to modulate the wavetable position to give it a little bit more movement. Alright, so that should wrap up the first tip, okay? The second tip is going to be using a high pass filter. Let's go into our normals and we're going to select our high pass 24. High pass filters are perfect for creating growls. If you guys take a listen to almost any growl in modern music today, they are almost always made with a high pass filter. I know it's very generic, but it really does give it a nice talking sound. So let's just hear what it sounds like. You guys can start to hear why people are using this. Not only does it give the sound a little bit more movement, but it actually gives it a more vocal talking sound. So let's start to modulate this now. Turn up the drive a little bit, and of course the resonance is going to be a very crucial piece to this tip as well. Really, we're going to want a resonance amount to about like 60-70% here. That's really just to kind of increase the presence of the effect and really give it a more talking style sound. Alright, so the next piece we're going to be using here is actually in the phaser effect. I know, it's kind of bizarre here. What we're going to end up doing is we're going to turn down the rate all the way to 0, the depth all the way down to 0, and the frequency is going to go all the way down to 0 as well. So let's just take a listen, right? As you can hear, it really did beef up the sound a little bit more. Doesn't it sound like it's almost passing through a guitar amp? Now this is what I love about the effect. You could put it onto almost any growl and it will make it sound really gritty, or like I just love the effect if it's just like passing through a guitar amp. And yeah, that's really all it takes for that effect. Really simple sound here, but it's so effective. I can tell you, I don't have a single growl. Yeah, I seriously don't have a single growl in Serum that I'm not using to this to some extent. If it's too intense in a specific sound, I will turn on the mix a little bit, but I literally almost have this on all the time in my growls. Another one is going to be the EQ. This is another one that you'll see me use a lot in my growls in Serum. If you guys have checked out my previous tutorials, I've literally have this in probably like 25-30% of my videos. What we're going to be doing here is we just turn up the gain of this peak slope right here, and we could modulate the frequency. Let's take a listen. Let's turn up the gain all the way so we can really get an idea of what this is actually doing to the sound. Okay, so as you can hear before, very, very slim right now. What we're going to be doing now is we're actually going to take the second peak filter here, and we're actually going to be doing a very similar thing. We're going to gain it as well. And we're going to set the frequency to, that's pretty high. Well, that's about 3,000 hertz around. And we're actually going to be modulating it backwards to go in the opposite direction as this one. So as you can hear, it's actually starting to create even more of a vocal sound. Let's hear it before now. And the more we move these down the spectrum, it almost sounds like it has a lower formant, or it's just less of a higher sound almost, because, you know, we're obviously moving it down into the lower frequencies instead of the higher ones. And all right, so that's it for that part. Now we can get into our final tip here. This is going to be, it's a pretty nice effect here. This isn't one that you want to throw onto every growl, but it can definitely, what's the word? It can make it sound more robotic. I did this in my Getter head splitter growl tutorial, but a lot of producers that do kind of like that Getter-esque style, they do really just a short delay. What we're going to be doing here is we just turn on the delay, we turn off BPM sync, and we turn on link. That way we can just we can move like, I should say, adjust one delay length on either the left or the right, and it will move the other one simultaneously with it. So basically we're going to turn this to like 20. All right, we'll turn this to 20 something. Turn up the feedback a little bit, and we want to turn up the mix so we can actually hear what this is doing. So as you can hear, the lower we bring this down, the quicker the sound is actually being cycled through the delay. So we can create some really cool effects with that. But anyways, guys, that is really all it takes. Of course, this is one kind of a no-brainer. Turn on the multi-band compressor. You don't want to do this on every sound, but it really does help. And yeah, straight up, that's what you do to make some awesome growls in Serum. Another element, this isn't just for Serum, this is really any growl. You want some kind of pitch bend on it. All right, that's really going to make it a lot more human-like. But anyways, guys, that's all it takes to make some really bomb-ass growls in Serum. And I hope that you guys found this tutorial, let's say, useful, effective. If you guys did, you know what to do. Sauce me that subscribe button and click that like button as well. Without further ado, my name is Shane Gregoire, and I will catch you guys in the next rocket powered sound tutorial.